YouTube, and welcome to potentially a new show that I've been wanting to work on that I'm really passionate about, actually. Last week, the MRI occurred, and we got a Marvel Rivals Ignite winner. Now, as always, whenever there is an esport event, there is always a Reddit thread or some kind of post talking about commentary, and just like any other organization or any subreddit, it did pop up, and we see thoughts from the casters. And usually there are thoughts that come in here, but it's usually people talking about their favorite caster or just straight up, for lack of a better word, shitting on people that are doing this as a job. Casting is a very, very difficult endeavor, and it is something that requires coaching and probably a lot of studying and a lot of personal reflection before you do get good at it. So I thought today I would go over some of the casters, check them out, see how they're doing, give some supportive content, maybe give a good example of good casting and maybe some examples of bad casting, and overall just try to improve the scene, because I really like Marvel Rivals, and I want to see everyone put out their best foot forward, especially when there's $3 million on the line. So let's hop into it and see how it goes.
Stage is set. We are about to find out our second grand finalist, and to take us there, let's head back to the casters.
All right, chat, we're gonna get our notepad out.
Thank you so much, Tetra and Cozy. We are ready to get stuck into our lower finals here at Marvel Rivals.
When we hear good casting or bad casting, let me know and I'll write down the timer on the video.
Only one of these teams can make a grasp for that big golden
Do they not do lower thirds?
Oh, there they are. So
got Maxi and Leg Day.
Rematch against NV2. Both of these teams have matched up against the American Giant, and both of them have fallen. Like you said, we're going to be starting with a best of 5 before we get to see that best of 7 grand finals.
Is that the background music in the game or
through.
my music? That is the background music.
So definitely
Fashionable jacket. A lot of people look at the clothes of casters. I don't care at all. I'm not going to comment on any of those, man. Oh, I think they both look fascinating right now. Fabulous, if you will.
We actually got to see our first ever Jeff the Landshark ban coming on through on the Ignite stage.
Yeah, Jeff the Landshark, not really an expected ban for anyone.
So far, I'm actually really enjoying the start of their commentary. We're getting a setup from Moxie talking about Jeff the Shark, who was popular this weekend. I mean, I heard it everywhere. Twitter, different YouTube videos, I saw thumbnails about it. She's telling me about this, and she's setting up her co-caster to also talk about that. This is great synergy so far. This is actually a wonderful opening to today's match. Like, this is actually really good.
How the meta was shaping up coming into our mid-season finals. We were expecting a lot more Emma bans, a lot more Mag bans, and of course the perma-banning of a Human Torch, which some teams forget against Envy. But it really seems like the meta has shifted away towards like trying to constrain like the strategists and the vanguards. But if you think that you could do a little bit better when it comes to drafting our bans, now you can join, potentially, our Marvel Rivals Ignite Stage 2, so you have a chance to be up on that stage having your name called by Mox and I. So just log in to Marvel Rivals on PC, head to the Tournament Marvel Rivals Clash section, join a Clash faction, and submit your team application to the open qualifiers.
Yeah.
Honestly, so far, this has been a wonderful opening by Moxie and Leg Day. They have talked about the meta. They've given me a couple of like things to grab onto as a viewer for what I should be looking forward to in the match. So now in the ban phase, I'll be able to start looking for that. And then they've done exactly what they have to do on production, which is they finish their thought, and then they need to, within 30 seconds, start talking about what's currently on the screen. You want to follow the eyeballs, but you also do it because people at home are listening, and they might not be able to see what's currently happening on the screen. So you want to have it in the background. They want to know what's going on with the stream. You want to make sure that your audio is good. In fact, one of the best things you can do whenever you're watching a caster, or you're a caster yourself trying to get it better, is you sit and close your eyes. This is the closing eyes test. We'll just call it that. You close your eyes and you listen to yourself, you listen to your commentators, whatever, and you go, can I visualize what is currently happening on screen? And so far, I think they would pass the closed eyes test right now.
It costs absolutely nothing, and you might be walking away with a very generous part of that prize pool.
Okay, so they're doing great in terms of opening. I'm actually very happy with this. Let's go to the ban phase. I want to hear the ban phase and what the plan is from there, and what they think of the players, what the storylines beats are coming up, and go from there. Okay, so we are now at the start of a match. This is the ban phase. We've already talked about a couple of highlights, had a really good introduction. What I'm looking for here is player-specific knowledge. What I like to do when I'm doing commentary is I always try to focus on one player per team and let the audience know like why they might be talking about bans and whatnot, but you can do a quick recap over why certain things are being banned, especially on day 1. Or day 4, the first hour. You want to set the scene for everybody that may be starting from the very, very beginning. So I'm looking for analysis about the current bans, what's currently meta and what's odd. Like, if something odd pops up, I want that to be the focus for the casters. So we'll see how this goes.
Our audience through how Ignite does their bans.
Well, it's going to be an insta-ban up first, and ooh, it feels like we're back in our playoff stages because Rad insta-ban out the Emma. There's 100 Thieves are going to be taking the Mantis off of the board, so there goes the Ultron composition as well as a red stat.
There's a world where banning Emma Frost as well might force Vinny towards either the Venom or the group, both of which can be particularly vulnerable to the Wolverine, but Naga likes to pick up. And this might move
one thing for leg day right away that I'm hearing here is he's done a lot of studying, right? And a lot of casters are going to do a lot of studying. One thing you need to get at peace at, and this is something that I went through in my first year of casting as well, is that you don't have to talk fast. You have a lot of information. I know you want to get it out there, but realize that even though you studied for 100% of the things that might show up, you're only going to talk about 10 to 15% of them. Bake in the moment, live for it. You are rushing through information right now. And to be fair, there's a lot of shit going on in Marvel Rivals. You have a 6v6, you have tons of bands that are coming forward, you have a lot of characters you have to talk about. Slow down and enjoy the moment and like get the intensity going for this. Like, we're in the last day of Marvel Rivals Ignite, millions of dollars on the line, etc. Let's build that up instead of just rushing through everything.
Wolverine ban, first protect's going to be going the way of Lunar Snow.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves are actually going to be targeting the Ultron, so they're weakening a Human Torch because Rad are going to be removing it from 100 Thieves and foregoing actually potentially having that save on the Human Torch. They're going to be now taking out that Phoenix to start limiting the hero pool for Delana.
Yeah, there may be a world where they just go all after the hero pool of Delana here and try and get rid of a Psylocke as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Loki Protect coming through. That's obviously one for Harvey, who gets a huge amount of value out of that one. And Captain America is going to be the last ban here.
Yeah, Captain America is going to be banned. So Luna is still going to be actually up right now for 100 Thieves. It's not one-sided. As Rad prioritized removing the Emma for that Psylocke to not get the mirror symmetry.
UI is much better than playoffs.
We're going to be seeing a one-sided Phoenix, however, come on through from Rad, which is now going to force 100 Thieves to ban Magneto, I would be assuming, so that we don't see the Meteor M combined with Inferno, which has been absolutely melting through a lot of these team fights. But no, they actually removed the Venom instead, taking out Trust Me's opponent.
So this is a weird ban, obviously. She's like, oh no, they're getting rid of Venom here. So I want more information about why Venom is weird. You can go into situations about, oh, Venom is a diver. He dives the back line. They probably want to make sure their supports are having a solid game here so they can focus on the front lines, things like that. Because Venom is very, very good at disrupting and being obnoxious in the background. This is somewhere where Leg Day could work on being more synergistic with a caster here and follow up on that, right? You don't have to have different thoughts. It can be a conversation on one character between two casters. In fact, I prefer that, and I think that really shows good commentary and you working together. So we'll see if either of them do that here.
And getting rid of a potential for
they moved it in Frost.
Shenanigans team up with Jeff. Symbolic Shenanigan Tendrils combined with the
Wait, what happened there? Did they transition that before I talked?
To not get these team fights, but no, they actually
hovered the Venom and then moved to Emma Frost,
taking out Trust Me's opponent.
And getting rid of a potential for
what just happened? Was that a production error?
Team up with Jeff. Symbolic Shenanigan Tendrils combined
or they switch them
with the Soul Bond.
Oh, it moved.
So much sustained.
That is fucking awful. Okay, production needs to fix that because you're looking at something and then it like slowly rotates over and changes it, and maybe I would get used to it. But this should be a bigger change. It shouldn't just switch between. This is a production point. This should maybe become a full screen graphic, right? Like this should go on the top side and this should go on the bottom side. Like it should meld. Like there should be some more movement here. I don't like how that happened. That's confusing for me, and I know the game. Imagine it for someone who doesn't know the game. Production needs to fix that one. That's rough. Okay, so the Venom came over here. That's what happened. The reorganizing was good, but I don't know why they swapped sides. Yeah, there needs to be a more, we are showing the big teams here, you know, or like maybe like do a split screen where you put one team on the top with the new setup here and the other one on the bottom. Like visually, the real estate needs to change here. That's just a production issue though, not on the casters. Random tangent.
All important first fight on each of these domination submaps.
Okay.
Well, Rad were able to get that.
Cool. So we got the ban phase in. I thought overall I would rank them at like a solid B right now. A couple of changes could occur, but they were kind of nailing what I'm looking for in casters. You know, if they want to move up to the A to S here, listen a little bit more and then make sure to point out the weird stuff, right? A little bit more detail is fine, and then Leg Day needs to slow down a tad bit because he is just running through the information, which is good. He's prepared, but, you know, calm down a bit.
On Human Torch.
Okay, let's go to an actual fight and see how their commentary is in the match.
Ban it. They
Okay, so we'll be heading into the match here. My thoughts is that in this early stage, usually a lot of stuff isn't going to be happening until you have a pick or ultimates are getting farmed up. So the early stage, you can be a little bit slower, you can set the scene, and I think it's really important to let the viewers know what each team composition is trying to do. So I'm looking for that from the commentators here in this first phase, unless some weird stuff happens, like a pick happens immediately, or an ult gets farmed really quickly. You really shouldn't change too much, in my opinion, for that. So let's see how that goes.
Trust me, let's head
That's how I like it, though. People can take it how they want.
Finals. Mox, only one of these teams can take a shot at our big trophy and against the Titans of Envy. And we find out who, starting on map number 1, Celestial Husk.
Well, trust me, he doesn't get access to the Venom, but he's still going to be running Dive. It's going to be the Captain America. So 100 Thieves shoring up their backline with Terra actually going to be starting off on that Winter Soldier Bionic.
Good point that Trust Me is playing a backup,
Captain America gets
or a character that he doesn't usually prefer.
Yeah, could have also been a preemptive hedge against the Wolverine as well to try and shut them down in the aftermath of a Primal Flame
Great overshot.
enhanced Feral Leap. For now, Vinny just speculating.
I would love to see that a little bit more.
Around the edge. He wants to try and get in onto Delane, who has the pops out there. Sonic stealthing. Still, Trust Me, manages to hunt them down. And that's going to be an early opening here for Rad. They aren't worrying about the flanks anymore.
Yeah, and this Human Torch can now start applying all.
I think Leg Day there could have gone a little bit intense on that pick. Ooh, an early pick. It's just something short, quick, you know, let people know that's not normal for that to occur. And then I like that he was like, okay, so we're going to have an early advantage here. What does that early advantage mean? Here it means you can move in and take space and grab the objective and start controlling it and potentially get it early here, right? On the opposing side, they're going to try and hold it. They do have great tanks in both TTK, Magneto, and Vinny. They can try to delay this point being grabbed overall, but with them being a member down, it's going to be difficult. And I would have loved for that to be kind of talked about a bit more, right? Delana, their Psylocke going down means that Rad now doesn't have to worry about a flank or the supports getting picked off. They can play more front to back and move up.
All of that spam pressure with the Psylocke being out of the mix, you don't have to worry about your flyers getting pushed. Regeneration domain already going to be forced too, which means that Rad are going to be feeling incredibly confident the second those crystals burn to keep on moving forward, but they stay a little bit too long, Harry, and Trust Me goes down.
Yeah, regeneration domain wasn't quite
Great
there
job. Moxie is impressing me right here. Gave great analysis, gave a launching point for her co-caster, and then said, I believe his name, I don't know if his name is Harry, but said his name to pass the ball over to him. One thing casters can do when they're in person really, really strong is like you can do hand signals, right? Like typically when I'm casting with my co-casters, I'll say something and I'll have my hand on my chest and then I'll literally lean into it when I'm trying to pass over the mic to them, right? But she did it with her voice there. That was A+. Moxie is beating ass right now, for real. Flip the other person off? Yeah, give them some kind of signal, for real. There's a lot of like micro stuff that happens in the background for commentary.
David Captain America, look, Delane's already back using both the dashes. What is this?
Now, actually, I want to rewatch this because I don't know if Leg Day took the information in the pass from Moxie, which I would knock off points from him as a caster if he didn't do that here. Even if it's just like, yeah, that's a good point, you know, like make it a conversation, you know. So let's go see how he followed that up.
Enhanced Feral Leap. For now, Vinny just speculating as Naga looks around the edge. He wants to try and get in onto the
So listen to it all from now.
Sonic stealthing. Still, Trust Me, manages to hunt them down. And that's going to be an early opening here for Rad. They aren't worrying about the flanks anymore.
Yeah, and this Human Torch.
Actually, Leg Day, I didn't hear the part about not worrying about the flanks. That was good. I like that. So, you know, my early point that I mentioned, he killed it there. Great job.
Can now start applying all of that spam pressure with the Psylocke being out of the mix. You don't have to worry about your flyers getting pushed. Regeneration domain already going to be forced too, which means that Rad are going to be feeling incredibly confident the second those crystals burn to keep on moving forward, but they stay a little bit too long, Harry, and Trust Me goes down.
Yeah, regeneration domain wasn't quite there in time to save the Captain America. Look, Delane's already back.
Let's get back and forth.
What is this? Naga super low down into the ground. He bonked his Widow ahead. And while Delane is even more happy to stick a katana in it thereafter to find the elimination. And now Terra with Protestant. She's going to be able to stand strong here. Rajaro grabbed from the air. Fate noted round the side. Melio is taking out Terra in the midst of all of this as Crook moves on forward. Fate of both worlds in their hands. The end song strikes pay dirt, but no final frags are found. Naga looks towards the skies. Delana is isolated for a moment. Maybe a hot drop on the cards right here, but taking to the sky allows him a little bit of extra momentum. Up comes the Meteor M, hiding inside in the regeneration domain to make sure there's not going to be any final hits given over. Still, Melio was isolated elsewhere.
Bro, pass the mic. Pass the fucking mic. I would say about 30 to 45 seconds he should be thinking about looking for an out. over to your teammate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's nailing the play-by-play. He's yelling everything here. He's calling out every single ult that's happening and whatnot. I would have loved, like, more preemptive knowledge of, like, oh, Luna Snow popped her ultimate over here on Rad. We should see a opposing ultimate as well. Ah, there it is. Sets up into a Phoenix ultimate, which will kill all the health bars here and delete all summons. And we should be able to see a pick here pretty soon. Moxie. Pass it over, right? He is just hogging the play-by-play. I think a lot of people like to have an analysis and a play-by-play commentator in a lot of setups, and I think that line is being blurred more in esports, especially in games like this where there's so much action. There isn't time to stop play-by-play, so like both people need to be able to do it, even if you just give a little bit of room for the analysis to be like, ooh, I really like to save me all the ult there, blah blah blah, or he needs to chase down the Psylocke, he's doing a great job of zoning them away from the team. Give the analysis a moment to say a sentence or two, and then you can go back into the play-by-play if you are going to be separated. But way too much leg day right now. I want some more back and forth.
Delana plays around the outside, and you can see the Dance of the Butterflies is ready to go for a moment, dodging away to make sure that Rajaro can't take them out with the Meteor Aim. Instead, Melania is given all of the attention, and Delana's finally hunted down by Naga on the periphery.
Yeah, Terra got picked, had to come back on the Doctor Strange to help out the brawl fight, so wasn't there to keep the dive in check. The fight's still going though, as 100 Thieves refuse to give it on up. They've still got the Dance of the Butterflies, but without that Doctor Strange, I think it's just going to be a matter of trying to stop Rad from picking up as much point percentage as possible, as they're going to be holding on.
Take a breather with the teams here. They're taking a breather, you take a breather. You are controlling the ups and downs on commentary here right now, right? Get people invested in this game. Because right now, Rad has full control, should be stepping up to zone out the opponents. Talk about that now a little bit, so try to fade off here.
To its use in this next fight. Normally, that Dance of the Butterflies would be able to find value, but into a Loki with the Doppelgangers plus that regeneration domain, 100 Thieves are going to have to take it a little bit slower, wait for those resources to be down before they look for those picks.
Yeah, somewhat under-resourced here are Rad, but Naga does have the Supernova available, and 100 Thieves don't really have the wherewithal to stand up to this until they have one of their strategist ultimates online.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves are actually going to be swapping the Winter Soldier onto the Wolverine,
wow.
And they've already been able to find the
Perfect
fight.
commentary.
They knew that Naga was the only
Set up. She set up that somebody was switching on a character and then was willing to let that point go because Wolverine finding a pick is more important in that situation. Good analysis and good priority of like what's happening in the game.
One with an ultimate on Rad's side, and they try and shut it down, but the peel is immediate, and the Supernova sounds on off, forcing Harvey into using that God of Mischief to burn a Lunar ult.
Okay, great regeneration there coming through from Harvey. Dance of the Butterflies might be focused in only onto the Lunar Snow here. Terra getting up close and personal. Final Sam ready to go. Up to the air goes the Phoenix. The impact isn't quite there though. Terra can't convert upon the players who are grabbed up into the skybox. And now it's just down to try and chase the Captain America. Trust me, forced to that one, but Harvey going to be taken out on the other side. The Phoenix hits the ground, and that's going to be a recontest coming through from Rajaro. The pentagram of Ferala has been formed, coming directly out of a spawn to make sure that all of those who...
Luna Snow ult should be ending relatively soon. I would like for them to mention that here, because Luna Snow is 12 seconds of healing, right? But the time is about to tick down, and usually what you can do is the moment you hear that, you can straight up look at the game timer and then make that analysis of like when it's going to end, because it's 12 seconds every time, right?
Of Rad, who pop out of that spawn door, are easily able to return. The damage proves too much for them.
And because of it, because Fate came a little bit later, Melena's finishing allowed for Rad to come here and get the pick. So I would love to have knowledge about why that happened, right? I think it's also really important as a commentator to point out when things are going to happen so people start thinking about it in their own games, and that makes the player base overall better and more invested in esports.
Lania, and permafrost becomes temporary frost as she's taken elsewhere. Naga floats above it. All the Feast of the Abyss takes a bite out of Rajaro, but Mystic Flavored Candy is easy to try and get out of the system for now. Trust me, she's just going to keep this one contested.
Yeah, trust me, just keep on putting pressure on that back line. The Meteor M used earlier means that the Supernova is absolutely free. It's combined with the Eye of Agamotto, and that one's going to sting.
Alright, the Supernova just does so much damage, both soul and body cooked alive by Naga, reducing the 100 Thieves to atoms. And despite the purges that have been made so far,
I do like late day slow when it gets going.
The point at all.
It's really
yeah,
good.
level 1 Crook's going to have God of Mischief too. It's up to Vinny on this Venom to try and get a tap to activate that overtime. As we're in final fight territory, but the Venom falls. He's been able to activate the overtime, but 100 Thieves don't have the Strange Portal, and it's just going to have to be a Wolverine jump onto point to keep it going.
Great setup by Moxie. Moxie's impressing me.
going to come on up. Fate of Both Worlds stolen away by Harvey, the God of Mischief, certainly trying to make something work. Terra's managed to take Naga down to Terra Firma and snuff a flame out for a moment longer. Melio dodges around on point, setting up the Sparks, ready to try and one-tap the Lunar Snow, following in after this, but no, taken out from mid-air. The end song is stopped.
Oh, I would have loved for him to follow it up. Tries to snipe the Luna Snow, putting the fiery passive on top of it, and then going for the ultimate for the burst of damage, but doesn't get it, and then moves to the next one. Like, if you're going to set up something, give me the end of it, you know? Find a way to give me the end of that. Ooh, doesn't quite get it. Not quite there. Things like that you can mix in, you know? Just a couple more words. Like, he says it, trying to go for the Luna Snow, and we visually don't see it. But remember, the people at home that are watching might not know if that happens. And if they hear on the radio, oh, the Luna Snow goes down, they go, oh, they probably won the team fight, right? Like, a knower will know.
And the Spotify subscription is cancelled. Crook and Fate have fallen down. 2 Lunar Snows wilt and melts before the burning fiery passion.
Bring the intensity up right now. The overtime is down to yellow. Just a little bit more intensity. This is effort for Rad. Effort for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. Trust me, still dances around, but it's a dance macabre as he falls, and Rad finally lose control of the point.
The stabilization.
Yeah, you can slow that down to show the intensity, or you could start to like growl in your throat a bit. Like that really helps a little bit, because like getting high pitched on microphones nowadays has a problem with peaking. So you need to try and avoid that. So you want to bring the intensity in terms of like gravitas, like in the bottom of your throat, like use your diaphragm, shit like that, you know?
Is that, but it is one fight territory, and 100 Thieves are going to have to stop Brad from just getting that Captain America onto point to force a back cap contest, or potentially hitting into that back line and pushing Harvey into burning those regeneration domains a little bit earlier than the Loki would prefer. Terra's so close to that last stand, but his, trust me, already creating enough attention that the rest of his team get more space, and that fight is about to move on to the objective.
Yeah, Trust Me says, everybody look at me. Delena needs some attention off on the angle. Naga not getting a little too frisky just yet, waiting for everyone to look at Trust Me, and Terra certainly has committed to that one, falling super low. The last stand still available. I believe that was a regeneration domain used there by Crook from afar. Down into the midst of everybody, but guess what? Already the song of my people is playing, and that's the fate of both worlds decided here in super low. Vinny brings them with the Feast of the Abyss, and Harvey drives all forward with their own fate of both worlds. It's healing for everybody.
Bro, I do feel like in Marvel Rivals, and this is a note for production or observers, we don't have to jump around so much. It's okay to linger on someone for like 8 or 9 seconds. It's like they're using the TV conversation reality thing, right? To keep people engaged in reality TV, if you ever watch, they try to cut between different scenes every 3 to 5 seconds, right? And it's meant to like keep your brain engaged and whatnot. This game is engaging by itself, right? And I also want to develop what I'm watching on a player. I want to be able to absorb their cooldowns. I want to absorb what they're trying to focus and whatnot. And I know there are ultimates that have already popped and whatnot, but like that's on the commentators to bring that up. Or even for us to try to move to that character before an overtime or an ult pops, right? Like the camera is jumping way too much in my opinion, which is maybe an opinion that I have. I don't know. What do you guys think, Chad? Like, should we like linger a bit, or is there too much cutting?
Insong ignites, then Harvey just gets cooked under the pressure.
Like, you're not going to catch every kill.
They close the door, they lock it down. 100 Thieves now need a plan to try and keep this one contested. It's already halfway captured for the side of Rad. A recontest of a portal might well be on the cards here if Terra respawns, but it's going to be Delena who hits in first with the dance. The butterflies managed to get rid of level 1. Croak fates up on the dock, trying to hunt down.
Bro, let Moxie go in on that. She said the cap. Like, she's clearly paying attention to something and locking into something, and it's going to win the game, right? Sometimes there's too much cutting, sometimes they get it right. Yeah. I'm like most modern editing is cutting as much as possible. True, but you're in a live environment, so you can't get the perfect shot, right? That's where the difference is in modern editing. Modern editing is done post. This is a live tournament, so it's hard to catch that.
Oh, what a
but yeah, Moxie came in and was like, oh, the cap is about to happen. Finish your goddamn sentence, Lake Day, and let Moxie talk. You've been talking for an hour, my man. You know? And again, these are my opinions. Maybe one of the things you can do on commentary is you talk to your partner and about what you want to do and what they want to do. Maybe they have like an agreement where like if she raises her hand, she can talk or whatever. But like if she interjects with a point, set her up to finish with her point because she's clearly locked onto something that you may have missed doing play-by-play, which is fine. Play-by-play requires a lot of attention. Lean on your partner.
shots from Trust Me. Bro's absolutely
They're really
crazy.
solid together,
Delaney didn't
honestly.
see
Like,
that one coming, and
I'm giving them like a
turning
B,
up
B
the
plus right now.
temperature of a
I could see
Kelvin
them
there.
being an A, like S tier combo if they put a little work into some things.
Rises, TTK looks away and takes down Melio in their own right. As guess what? In the midst of all this, an Iron Fist has arrived. Terror in mid-air, a hot drop not able to compete, and that's going to be Naga coming up close to the flame clusters, making sure that the chi itself is absolutely melted.
Yeah, it's just dealing with some of these picks coming on through. 100 Thieves trying to force level 1 Crook into feeling pressure to utilize that ultimate so they don't have it the next round. The regeneration domain's going to be burned almost immediately, and still Rad haven't been able to finalize these picks. Melania gets the Human Torch, Meldio trades it to the Venom, and it's going to have to be level 1 Crook parting with the God of Mischief instead.
Harvey's managed to get it as well.
Fucking Moxie is blowing my mind right now. She's killing commentary. What is Moxie from? This is my first time ever seeing her. Like, she's fucking nailing it. Like, she's hitting everything that I'm thinking about as a person that plays this game as well. She's nailing what I want to see in commentary. And then she's setting up her partner to do well. Like, my god, she's S tier.
Everybody's dancing on the point. It's a good time for all and sundry. Karaoke party. They're singing Fate of Both Worlds. They're waiting to see who's a rival till the end. The assembly is called as the Freedom Charge moves forward. Terror's regeneration factor cannot deal with the damage that is brought forth. Melania's rolled in with the shield, blocking off the heals to make sure that maybe...
Great pacing here for Leg Day, by the way. He is killing it right now. This end... These last couple of minutes have been pretty fire from both of them. I would like Leg Day to throw a bit more, but like the commentary and the pace and the speed, great.
100 Thieves convert upon the stuns that were delivered by the Eye of Agamotto. Dancing away once again, Luna Snow desperately begs for their team to cling to the realm of the living, but on the Celestial Husk, the symbiote claims all and sundry. They return to the soil, they return to the tendrils, and we'll move on to map number 2.
Great
What
ending.
an overtime fight, though.
Great ending.
If they weren't up against a composition with a Luna, a Captain America, and a Loki, 100 Thieves likely would have been able to flip that. Because they had damage-boosted Eye of Agamotto when Delana and Melania lined their ultimates up, and Vinny was desperately trying to build up the Feast of the Abyss to be the tipping point. That would finally be the straw that broke the camel's back that was Rad's sustain cycle.
Okay, so after that analysis, what I'm looking for here is to slow it down, bring it back. All right, so now we're in a level. We're gonna level off a little bit. We're like high intensity right now. I want them to bring it down, get ready for match number 2, slow down the speech patterns a bit, have a conversation about what we enjoyed about that match, and then start setting up round number 2.
See what Vinny was able to hold
Perfect,
on.
fucking perfect. Love it, love it. There was a good 3 seconds there of silence. Silence is okay, and you slow down the speech. Now I just need Moxie to match that.
To that Feast of the Abyss, it might well be an opening factor here as we head into our second map.
We get Asgardian Rebirth. Delana and Harvey. Delana's going to be going over onto the Hela. I mean, she's hit scan, so she should be able to put pressure onto these flyers, but you do have to worry about a Captain America just running on top of you every single time Trust Me has anything to say about it. So
Would like a little bit more analysis of okay, we see Hela here for the first time. Captain America could be a threat. Why is that a threat to Hela? It's because her mobility isn't as good as someone like Phoenix, and her close range damage is very hard to hit, right? So I would love for that to be put out. So she's either going to play near her supports to mitigate that, or play a little bit more forward with Vanguards and use her escapes to get high ground.
it's really going to be up to 100 Thieves to keep the Captain America off of the Hela and give Delana enough space to be able to take these flyers down.
Solid.
Let's not forget, Hela's part of a Symbiotic Shenanigans team up now as well, so Soldier is going to have an additional slow on it, Mox.
Yeah, Terra's got that last stand, doesn't want to get scouted either, and cleared out. There's the Phoenix.
Okay.
Grab's not going to be...
So far, I would rate... chat, what do you guys rate these guys? I would rate them like B, B+. I think they're pretty solid. Definitely need to work on maybe their chemistry a bit more. Leg Day, maybe a bit nervous to start, was talking kind of fast, so like slow that down a little bit. Enjoy your pacing. I thought Moxie had a fucking brilliant showing for round number 1. Just killed it on the commentary table. I loved her passes. Would like to have a little bit more information here and there. I know they're trying to jump around a lot, but overall, I thought it was pretty solid. As someone who doesn't know anything about Marvel Rivals, I'm enjoying it. Nice. I like the volume of them both. Yeah, the volume is pretty solid. I do like it. There are a couple of casters that are in this tournament that I think on day 1 when I was watching, they were shouting way too much. These two seem to be pretty professional right now. So I'm vibing with them. I would like to see a couple of like fixes here and there, but I could see them being a premier duo in Marvel Rivals. Okay, let's go check out another commentary team. Okay, so now we are going to our next set of casters, but there are hosts available here in Marvel Rivals Ignite, which I actually am excited for because I haven't watched any of the hosting yet. I know TrikSlyr from the Heroes of Storm days. He had some confidence issues and did a lot of interesting things with his hands a lot. So I'm wondering if he's fixed those and repaired those. It's been years since I've seen him perform. And then on the other side, I think it's Cozy is his name. Cozy, I actually really like what he says. And again, I don't mean this as like a personal flame or anything, but like whenever he talks or he gets intense, he always looks like he's in pain. So if that's just his face, I'm sorry. But if it's fixable, smile a little bit more. I know it's really weird to say, but like in the entertainment business, man, you want to be welcoming face, right? You want to like look into the camera. You want your eyes fully wide open. You want to be smiling. You maybe want to do like a little chuckle, or you want to lean into the camera a bit. He always looks like he's thinking and very, very intense and almost like painful. So I'm looking for that to be fixed here. See if he's doing more comfortable. So let's hop into it and see how the hosting is.
Before we crown a champion, we've got one more match that you've all been waiting for.
Okay, first things first, TrikSlyr is coming out and not looking confident, right? This is the first visual appearance that someone is going to have of your host for the day, right? Come out confident, have some swagger, do a walk, be looking at the crowd, be beaming with your happiness. Don't look like you're confused, right? Or you're waiting your turn, which is kind of a weird thing with production. Like typically you want to have one host, you want to have one central piece that everybody knows, and you like allow that person to work all goddamn day. It's tiring, but it works better for the show. Having two hosts is a little weird here. They may have done it because it was 4 days, or maybe they didn't want to have too many casters or something. But now you've put these hosts in scenarios where they have to match each other's energy, match each other's thoughts, and also perform to each other's quality. If not, you're going to be like a disgruntled balancing act that's happening. So let's see how that pays out.
The streamers who helped create it versus the masterminds who built it. It's the streamers versus the devs.
Personally, this is a personal nitpick of myself. But like TrikSlyr coming out and like staring at his notes and whatnot, stare at the crowd and know what the fuck you're gonna say. You're the host, right? Be ready to go. It might just be like a nervous clamoring or whatever, but like I'm assuming now he's gonna be looking at his notes constantly and whatnot. Like, be ready to go.
And TrikSlyr, I could not be more excited for this exhilarating matchup.
Good pass.
We've got the
a lot of swaying happening right now. This is either nerves or not full control of the stage. And this is gonna sound really, 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 really weird, but my tip for this is if you're doing this movement back and forth that Cozy's doing, it just means you're not comfortable, right? Unless he's a swayer all the time, but he doesn't usually sway when I see him on webcams, right? Come out here and touch fucking everything. Literally put your hands on the ground, walk around the entire place, make it yours. There's something psychological about this. I learned it actually from NFL host. I worked on ESPN for a weekend, and I had a chance to meet a couple of people that worked hosting for ESPN. And I asked them, I was like, sometimes I get up there and I'm really nervous, which I know means I care. How do I prevent that from happening? And they coached me to touch the entire territory, mark it like a dog. I'm not kidding. So now anytime that I'm doing hosting work, I say, where is the stage? And they take me to the stage the day before, and I literally walk and touch everything. And if you recorded me, I would look weird as hell. But it works so well. So Cozy in the future, TrikSlyr in the future, try it. It may work for you. It worked for me. It's one of my favorite things now. And like usually when I walk out onto a stage, I am so comfortable and ready to go. And it's because you just know every single element of it, you know? So try that out.
Who built the game versus the people who
You pee on everything? No, I touch everything.
These are some of the best players in the world versus the people who literally made the game cozy. And I don't know about you, but I think this is going to be spectacular. We have challenges. We have
I see. This isn't even like a... Okay, maybe you forget everything I'm saying. This is like a weird segment being shoehorned in that they're talking about. It's devs versus like streamers, just to probably fill time. So they're probably just bullshitting, and they probably didn't have a plan.
Matchups, and we have
this happens so many times at events.
Blade is gonna be in these show matches.
That's cool. Okay, cool. So anyways, that's my intros. I'm gonna go ahead and ignore all this because this doesn't matter to me, and this is also an off-the-cuff thing. Usually these things kind of are, so I shouldn't be judging their hosting. I'll move on to the next one.
Welcome everyone to the great.
Okay, so we have our next casters. It looks like we're gonna be in the grand finals. Damn, I didn't know there was only 2 matches for today. That's crazy. So we're in the grand finals. We have Dogman and Shib. So this is in my opinion, if you're in the grand finals, you should be the cream of the crop. You should come prepared. You should be ready to go. Your hype and your teamwork should be off the charts. This is where you bring your intensity. Now, there is one criticism I have of Shib. I watched him on day one, and the guy just yells at everything, which is generally a newer caster mistake. You just take it to 11 off of everything. He'll be like talking normally, and then someone gets like, "Oh my god, I kill!" It's too much. Shib, next tournament, man, try to like take your level up every day to where you can get your maximum without peaking. It's one of the few things I really dislike about Shib, but other than that, I think he's like a great caster. The other part too that I did not enjoy about these two, before going in, I'm gonna be looking for it and see if it got better over the course of 4 days, is they don't seem to have a conversation and they don't match each other's energy. Which is, in my experience, very imperative for putting on a good broadcast. He's very analytical, a couple of jokes here and there. Shib is pretty good at play-by-play, but yells a lot, and the two of them just have different volume bars the entire way, which makes it hard on the sound design team. It makes it hard for the viewers to hear as well. So let's see how it goes here in the grand finals. Just want to put that out there. Now, I know I just said a lot of negative shit. I think they're great starting casters, and casters that with some time and a little bit of coaching can go a long way, for the record. I think they bring up really good points in the middle of matches. I like their synergy when they're chilling. There is some good stuff definitely here. So let's see how it goes in grand finals.
And finals, I'm one of your co-hosts. I run Shib here with my co-host Dogman. How you doing today, brother?
Doing great, Shib. We're here for the grand finals in Guangzhou, China, and it cannot be a bigger day halfway through our season of Ignite. Stage 1's finished, and now we're here for that mid-season finals.
Oh, you look incredible.
Solid.
160
Good intro.
grand on the line, folks. These teams.
And this is a problem. He's already shouting, right? And there's not much more higher you can go here without peaking your mic. I like 160 grand. Bring it down. That's a lot of money. You know, like throw the money number out there and then bring it back down. Like, it is an important number. You are correct. We should be hype about it, but calm down.
Have been going after it. Blood, sweat, and tears, grinding rivals, learning everything there is to learn. I cannot wait.
So here's going to be the problem. Will he match his goddamn energy? Because he can match it and then bring it down, right? He can match it, bring it down. But I don't know if he does that, and he hasn't been doing it in the past. So let's see.
To see who will be crowned our first victor in this world. What do you think, buddy? How do you feel?
I mean, excited like you are, dude. I mean, it's been
It
a
doesn't work
long
for me.
journey leading up to just this, and that's exciting, the fact that this is only halfway through.
So there needs to be an equilibrium between these two. He needs to bring it down a little bit. He needs to bring it up a little bit. Match that pacing. Match it. Fix it.
The Ignite
Control
series.
each other.
We have the grand finals later on. I believe the date's still to be announced, but once we do, I mean, Shib, obviously, these teams are the future of the game, and both Rad and Envy.
Good setting up.
One of them is going to take it home, obviously, but both.
Dogman does a really good job of setting up players. Like, he knows that the show is about them, not himself. He will, like, take jokes about himself and whatnot, but, like, overall, like, he knows the job, which is to set up these players.
They're seen as some of the best teams in Marvel Rivals Esports. If you want to learn the game, if you want to improve, if you're just looking at getting into Marvel Rivals Esports, this is the series to watch between both EU and North America. I mean, it's the script kind of wrote it, man.
It's so beautiful. I love the script. 160 grand, but not only that.
Bring it
right?
down, shit.
It is.
Like, I'm sorry, I get really annoyed at this. Because, like, I was this caster my first year, and I had to really work hard on it, so that's why it comes from a place of, like, judgment so much. It comes from, like, I want people to appreciate this, you know? This is esports, we're cool! But, like, it just gets really gnawing on the ear. Like, I had to listen to myself over and over, and I wound up hating myself for it so much. And Shib, he's doing a great job of saying the right words and whatnot. He's super hype, but bring the volume down, my brother. Please.
Also being etched in the history books. The first team to get this done, and everyone will remember your name. It adds so much pressure. All these teams, I'm sure their hearts are pounding. My adrenaline is going through the roof right now.
Dude.
I cannot. I'm just so happy to be here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got light sticks out.
The thing is, like,
I'm sure you guys have seen.
if he, I'm poor Shib. I'm so sorry, man. If you're ever watching this, dude, I think you're a fine commentator, for real. The thing is, like, this is how he starts fucking day one. And one, it's impressive that he has this energy and his voice isn't shot. Like, as he gets older, he's going to kill his vocal cords. Like, look at Tasteless from the early days to today, and he's like, ah, you know, you're gonna get some gravitas when you're yelling like that all the time. but it makes me want to yell, right? Like, which can be a great thing, but realize it's a weapon that you have. It's a tool set that you have. Bring it out at the right times.
Them. I mean, today's a big day for sure, and it's going to be our very first best out of 7 in the entire tournament. It's best out of 5s we've had throughout, but now we really get to find who the best team in the world is via the format, right, in this grand finals between these two teams. And I think
so far a good job of moving through the script, getting things set up.
Yes.
We'll sort of wait to build that up once we actually get to see the players. Obviously, the intro done by both Tetcher and Cozy was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Each player walking out, we had both Tetcher talking about the European players and Cozy about the North Americans. So this is really going to be an incredibly fun match, I believe.
Absolutely. I could have run through a brick wall after that intro. I mean, what
I believe
the
it.
Jeff. Yes, but before we get into storylines, let's just talk about just an overarching picture
Like,
of these
this would be a great time to break it down. Before we get into everything, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. You know?
teams, right? Both of these teams incredibly strong.
I'm exhausted before the match even started.
Not lost yet.
No.
In terms of rounds, 13-3, and the majority of those lost rounds went to their competitor on the side of Rad.
Is
Okay.
even across the
I think
board.
they're doing pretty well on like filling time. Honestly, pretty solid. I would give the same notes all the way through. Like, I think they're killing it for starting this entire intro of the grand finals. Just Shib needs to come down a hair, slow down a little bit here and there. And then these two need to do a better job of matching energy. And I think they'll literally just like rock it up to maybe my favorite casting pair. Straight up. That's just all they got to work on. Okay, let's go into the match. I want to see the ban phase and then casting. A little bit before this.
60 Gs. Are you kidding me? First ban out.
Okay.
What did I say? Goodbye to that
So
Mantis.
now we're in the ban phase. Again, checking out the characters that are important. What do we see pretty often? What is occurring? What important characters do we want to see get banned out? They probably covered a lot of this in the pre-show, but it's always important to talk about it during the actual ban phase itself, because remember, not everybody watches every single second. A lot of people skip through stuff. They just get straight to the games.
Mantis goodbye to Torch. Both teams prioritizing each other's hero pools in terms of getting rid of that hero, but it's sort of like that. Because you have to go for that ban, leave the Torch or Mantis. A lot of times you're going to see this Luna Snow Protect come through. And on the opposite side for Envy, they get a ban out Magneto, getting rid of Rajaro in terms of that hero that he likes to play, and protecting that Emma. Interesting.
I like
would be
naming
a
the
play for
player.
sure, considering the fact that, like you mentioned, Shib, you talked about how good Kaluja is on the hero.
Yeah, I think Kaluja, an incredible Strange and an incredible Emma. Obviously, Strange comes out when the time need be, but it's more of a, it's risky to have Strange out on your initial composition simply because of the fact that you can't use that teleport when somebody gets KO'd early, right? Because the hero was already selected.
Is that not a
As we
Warlock
see-
ban?
Well, the thing is, Shib, too, as well, sorry to cut you off, man, but, like, the thing is as well about the Emmas, you threaten the Psylocke pick, right? The Psylocke Emma team up, as we all know, is so...
That was perfectly done by... oh my god, I almost said Leg Day. Jesus, why is my brain breaking? Who is this caster? Dogman, excuse me. Dogman heard something about Shib. Shib brought up a point, and this is where slowing down can really help out Shib, because Dogman had a further point he wanted to bring up, but he literally had to cut off his co-caster because he wanted to say something. He had to apologize on air and then say it, right? This can be fixed by A, slowing down, and B, establishing hand signals between each other, right? This can all be done without the viewer knowing that you are cutting each other off. He can literally like raise his hand or like push out and say, hey, I want to talk right now. Typically, if I'm talking with a co-caster and I want to say something, I will literally like look him right in the eye and wave him down, right? Let them know. That way they can pass it to me, or they finish their point up quickly so I can be a part of the conversation and be relevant, right?
incredibly strong,
Sure.
especially with somebody like Melio playing it. And then you also got rid of Mantis on the opposite side.
But
so you
Dogman did
forced
what he could
Adam
there,
Warlock
right?
Man to come out because you know you don't want to have to play against triple res, especially against a team like Envy in the North American region. They're incredibly good at that. On the opposite side, Luna Snow Protect comes through as well.
Oh
and
yeah,
that
this is
Psylocke
on an
ban
older
that
patch. That explains the Adam Warlock ban. The newer patches, this doesn't exist anymore, the triple res.
comes through.
Great call.
I mean, Rad, they're just trying to counter Envy on their side and what's available. You got to get rid of triple res. Get rid of that Psylocke Emma. I mean, there's so many things you have to worry about. Captain America, like you saw on the opposite side for Envy, getting rid of those dive plays too. So for Rad, I mean, they have the Emma on their own. They also get the Psylocke play coming through for Melio. And then for Envy, they're not going to be able to play the Psylocke. They're not going to play that Adam triple res composition, but they do have the Mantis, so they can still go for that Ultron stuff if they really want to. But the Phoenix, the Torch getting removed. It's interesting because I think in the past we've seen a lot of more targeted bans towards speedery. Nowadays, I think for the top teams for Rad, they're maybe focusing on the overall composition. And this is what we talk about a team like Virtus Pro, who is not here. And because
I want to see Dogman and Moxie together. I want to see how they would commentate together, because I feel like it could either be really solid and appreciated, or it could be really boring. But I think it would be the former. I think the two of them would really bounce off each other very well.
And instead of both beat out VP in their respective region.
Did they commentate together at all this entire
But like you need
tournament?
to have no gaps, right?
Because so I want to
for a lot
watch
of these
it.
teams, it's okay to let people play certain compositions, right? We know Sparker is one of the best Psylocks in the game. Not here, obviously, but sometimes you have to be okay giving up a Psylock.
I like when commentators do this, by the way. It means they're listening to each other. You're going to hear Shib interact with a I agree. Just dropping that in there. It's fine to talk in the small moments that your teammate is talking as well, right? It lets you know that you're listening. It lets the viewer know that you agree with it. I like that. I like it when that happens.
Coming through for Melio, and then for Envy, they're not going to be able to play the Psylocke. They're not going to play that Atom triple res composition, but they do have the Mantis, so they can still go for that Ultron stuff if they really want to. But the Phoenix, the
sure
Torch
works.
getting removed. It's interesting because I think in the past we've seen
That's
a lot
good.
of
That means Shibs is listening. He has
Nowadays,
all the
I think for the top
tools
teams for Rad, they're maybe
to be
focusing
really
on the overall
solid
composition. And this is what we talk about a team like Virtus Pro, who is not here, and because Rad and Citadel both beat out VP in their respective region, they are here on the main stage. But like you need to have no gaps, right? And for a lot of these teams, it's okay to let people play certain compositions, right? We know Sparker is one of the best Psylocks in the game. Not here, obviously, but sometimes you have to be okay giving up a Psylocke as long as you're getting rid of a stronger composition.
I agree with that. I think one thing that we need to call out for Envy is Envy does a good job with those bunker anti-dive compositions where they use that Emma to shut down the Venom, so they don't need to ban the Venom, right?
Man.
They're one of those teams that doesn't panic against Rad's more traditional all-in.
We over here have a slow pan currently happening. I know he has a confidence monitor. For those that don't know what a confidence monitor is here. So like typically when you have a casting desk, right? You'll have a casting desk here, and then you'll have like the commentators just hanging out here. They're smiling, they're happy. Let's go. Life is great. Blah 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 blah. I got little headsets on, you know. Little headsets. Okay. And then they typically have like a monitor here that shows the game, so they can hit tab and they can look at stats and whatnot. And then they usually either have a monitor here, depending on how the camera looks, or they have a monitor that's underneath the camera that is currently recording them, right? I don't even know how to draw a camera, I'm not going to lie. That's a camera, chat. And this is called the confidence monitor. This is a monitor that's showing you what's currently going out to the full broadcast, what the viewer at home sees. There is currently a slow pan happening on his screen, and he is just rushing through everything.
It's okay to let people play certain compositions, right? We know
like the moment you see a slow pan, match the energy of the slow pan. Be cinematic with it. You can say the same shit you're saying.
As long as you're getting rid of a stronger composition.
I agree with
Be
that.
aware of what visually I'm watching.
Envy does a good job with those bunker anti-dive compositions where they use that Emma to shut down the Venom, so they don't
slow down.
need to ban the Venom, right? They're one of those teams that doesn't panic against Rad's more traditional all-in composition.
So I heard they're good against anti-dive, something about panic and compositions. That's all I heard. And he just ran through all three of those in 15 seconds. Like, pick one and just talk about it.
As we prepare here, folks, for game one of our finale.
Immediate yelling.
I am so excited to see this start off.
To be fair, this yelling is fine. But remember, he's yelled like 3 times so far in this intro, right? Imagine if this was the first time that he yelled. I'm like, oh shit, I should listen. Now I'm like, oh yeah, he's still commentating, you know, right? This, I don't mean to hamper on it so much, but it is such a glaring part of his casting that I feel like it needs to be talked about.
See Nero there, obviously using that Jeff for at least a speed boost off the rip, and yes, there it goes with the switch back there from Nero onto the Luna Snow Speedery on that Storm. Cal showing up here on the Winter Soldier. Saw some success with that over this tournament, which was a surprising showing there, but that goes back to that composition of the anti-dive if they wanted to choose that, as trust me, we'll be on that Venom, and here we go.
Here we go indeed. I mean, setting up on the outside of this round, and everybody's kind of poking each other out.
I have to consider you are casting international accent sort of thing.
Do you want to play?
Oh, you mean for like talking really fast? That's a good point. I was gonna say because he's American, it shouldn't matter. But yeah, you're correct. There are people that are probably not native English speakers, and they might lose a lot of what you were saying. That's very true. That's another good point for why slowing down is good.
Something like this because now Nero's already gone.
Trust me, gonna engage. Down goes Crystals immediately. Goodbye to that regen aura as they do lose one. Trust me, on his Speedery does not miss with those tendrils. Naga gonna find Cal now. That's 2 down for the side of Envy. Rad looking really good off the rip. These initial fights are so strong for Rad. When you have these,
skin.
Month's gonna find Trust Me right back to level 1 Crook. On to Kaluj, Loki. So much damage, so much healing. Rajaro now with Month. Envy heavily down now as Rad does have the point at 6% and counting.
Well, and right now, I'm actually I feel like Rad might have at least done very well in that draft phase, because now Speedery is going to go over to the Iron Fist to make sure Nero gets the team up with the Luna Snow. We talk about how good that is to make sure Nero can always push away the divers. But still, I mean, Luna Snow, it's so hard to live even after that cooldown runs out. We'll see if they can. I mean, they have one of the strongest backlines in the game, and same thing for Rad, but Rad maybe can set up the Memento Melio dive with Trust Me.
Yeah, I think the thing about Rad is if they get point early like this, they tend to succeed heavy because they do have a composition like Venom who could stall.
Oh man, oh, God, the audio balance between the two of them is just so hard to listen to. I don't know if I have like a trained ear or something, but either the sound guy needs to try and match them, which is annoying because like the speed of Shib is constantly changing, or like Dogman just needs to bring his volume up a little bit more. Like the two just need to really like lock down what their sound is, you know? And they commentate together in North America. This isn't like a random casting pair, right? These two have been doing it for weeks together. This is something that they should have as a discussion between the two, and I don't know if they have. But like, it really bothers me.
Point for a very long time, and that's all their goal
like,
is now.
So like, here's what I'm thinking right now, as a viewer that enjoys the game, who has casting experience. Immediately, I'm like, man, I wish Leg Day and Moxie were here instead. And you never want to have that thought, right? I don't want to have that thought because it's mean and rude to these two. But because they haven't worked on this small issue that someone's probably never pointed out to them. Because whenever you hear feedback, and this is why I'm doing this, whenever you hear feedback, it's either your commentary, usually from the business you get, you're great, keep doing what you're doing, right? And then from the internet you hear, you're trash or you're good. That's it. You don't ever talk about the minute things about what commentary is, right? Like, what do professional folks do to become experts at their crafts? And this is why like I'm pointing it out, because it's such a glaring issue to me, but it might not be a glaring issue to, you know, general esports fans, or even to like, the people that are running their hiring processes and whatnot, right? It's just like right now it's so disjointed, but they're both individually good. And I can see the bridge if they just communicate.
Is to try to hold the point as we see immediately. Out goes that cooldown. Trust Me gonna fall though as Kaluj gets some serious damage out. Out we go with the end song. Does not collide. Burned out of the sky.
Why
Great focus there.
did we cut
Melio
that?
going to get strangled prison. Down goes two.
I think they're trying to get the wide shot, but it kind of missed.
Cleans up Naga, and that is a great retake here. At this point, they burned another strategist cooldown, and they are up in numbers. So well done, Envy, on this fight to come back here, but 54% still and counting.
Yeah, they're trying to delay them. I mean, you have both Stratus Ultimates pop, Crook and Fate giving their all. Here comes that crack and impact on the backside. Just get reset.
Huge.
Shipping to this point, Cal's gonna get one. The stalls do come through. They actually, Speedery pops the ultimate, but nobody's even here.
I don't know if I like it. I mean, at this point, I think they were just trying to get rid of the stall. 64% is close to that number they're looking for off the rip there. They try to get a little bit above 70, and then at that point,
that was a really weird
guaranteed teleport fight. If they lose one fight, it's over. So I think at this point here, folks,
there's one thing that I think would be a great discussion that I haven't heard either of the casting pairs talk about, but talk about opportunity cost and when using ultimates. In theory, like, it's fine that he used that ultimate because it's a 2-on-2 ultimate exchange right now, right? There were multiple ultimates exchanged. Window and Venom are very similar on ult experience, right? That's something they could talk about here, but had Speedery not used, well, I call him Sheep Dairy because I'm a rebel. Had he not used his Iron Fist ultimate, they would have had 3 ultimates available to keep them off the point longer or to take the point back. And in this case, we'd want to take the point back and continue to hold it and keep them off longer because they're behind 60 to 15%. That opportunity cost is quite massive. So you want to make sure when you're hitting your Q of the game that you're hitting it at a time that's impactful. So I would love for casting teams to talk about that a little bit more often, even at the higher levels or even at earlier casts, which they may have done in the last couple of days. But usually I try to have like a notepad on the side when I'm doing commentary of like, what strategy things do I want to hit each day, right? So I only hit them once per day, so I'm not repeating myself, but if you're over a 4-day window, I should mention this 4 times over the entire weekend, right?
Rad is up for this map, at least right now, but we know how MB is. They get punched, and they turn into the Hulk. They do not take it lightly. Trust Me now going to set up and look for the back line, but they do have Iron Fist just kind of setting up and marking as Venom has a ton of movement, resetting towards the strategist.
Yeah,
Slow
you can
down.
always kind of change composition.
There was no reason to be fast there.
But they still have to play the objective with both Vanguards. We'll see how they do. There's no Wolverine on the opposite side, so this group should get a lot of value like we talked about before.
And Trust Me, again, burning that cooldown. Cal,
Thank you, Multi and
healing
Lambo.
for the back line. Out we go.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that me doing this caster analysis doesn't come off as me being an asshole. I actually truly love casting. I think it's such an interesting niche subject that a lot of people don't experience at a high level. And it's a shame to me that there isn't a lot of like coaching and resources available online to make people better casters, you know? So I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I haven't casted in a few years, and I haven't had a game that I've cared about to even attempt to do this. So it's nice that Marvel Rivals came along. So hopefully, if the casters that are watching this see this, or if anyone in the community sees this, I'm not trying to come at it as like trying to be better than anybody. I'm trying to help. And hopefully, if you have any more like thorough questions or niche questions, I'm an open book when it comes to casting. I would love to help out people. And if Marvel Rivals wants to hire me to be an on-site caster / coach, I'm in. Let me know.
With the Psionic, does it find the backline? Great focus there. Kaluj gonna pull out the Crystal. Nero is starting in that dance floor. Rajaro still holding on to that Psionic. Not a lot of value out of either. Does force out cooldowns though. Into the backline we go. Again, strangling prison from window.
You don't, oh my God.
He says it's not gonna matter as they take out 2 more.
That is an okay moment for him to get hype about it. What I would love for this, perfect commentary for me is, Shib gets hype, says, oh my God, that was huge. And then I want the analysis to come in, preferably from Dogman, not Shib, because he's yelling. I want Dogman to come in at the same height of yelling that he is, bring it down, and then analyze why that was such a good combination. Wow, Venom takes everyone's hero pools and splits them into 50%. If he has a tether to them as well, he does additional damage. And then with, on top of that, Phoenix coming with an AoE blow-up, she provides the fire, and they were able to take out 4 people because of it. A massive trade-off for 2 ultimates. Huge play coming in from Rad, right? Something like that would be nice.
Window finds Crook, but Rajaro gets 2 more, and that is back in Rad's favor.
Yep, back and forth. I mean, both teams making those counter swaps, or at least going for these dives a little bit healthier for Rad. They keep forcing out these greens, these crystal.
Not a word about the combination, right? What are the pro players doing to make that happen? They just got 4 kills together. What were the buttons pressed to get there? What was the level of coordination needed for that to occur? I want that to be talked about. You're in the goddamn grand finals with the best players in the world. Explain to me why they are popping off, especially when you have this downtime right now, because Envy on the other side has to make their way all the way across the map, which takes about 8 to 9 seconds on most maps, right? To even get in close to an objective control area. You have about 10 seconds to explain that. Use those 10 seconds well.
For month incredibly early, but because they need to keep Window alive, right? On that Groot and on that Emma, the problem with playing counter dive is that you are kind of straightforward, right? You have to kind of play in these positions and you know where you are, where for Rad, or rather the enemy team knows where you are, and for Rad, they can sort of play flexible. They can play all over the map and get you poked out before they go for those dives instead of.
I feel like that was good commentary, but misplaced commentary. None of that made sense for the current moment right now. Unless you're a homer for Envy, which might be happening because they're North American casters right now, versus Rad, who's European. So Envy, they might be kind of biased towards here, so they're explaining why Envy needs to keep certain characters alive, right? But I don't care about that as a unbiased viewer. I care about one team just beat the shit out of another team, how they do it, you know? Something you have to consider.
Angles, off angles to come through on the back line, make sure that both Nero and Munt are uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it forces you to keep, eyes in 2 different directions, right? That is the problem, and they keep finding value that way. So great idea and great strategy from Rad. Speedery gonna fight Crook early in the neutral, though, and that is a big fight. We haven't seen a ton of fists, but definitely playable, especially when Luna's on the field. Dance floor's match. Who's gonna dance the hardest, though, as the battle begins? Cal holding on to this Kraken impact. Naga on the high.
Shib sets himself up so well, but never fucking... Okay, so he sets himself up so well, he's like, oh, it's a big battle between the dancing right now. Oh my gosh, who will be the winner? Immediately what happens is he's not watching these windows, right? If you ever do that, he's probably watching this. Which, in my opinion, if you are casting, the worst place to look is usually right in front of you unless you are commentating the micro of the gameplay. The macro of the gameplay is what's important here. Both Luna Snows were about to ultimate, but immediately what happened is everyone from Rad turned around and focused on Luna Snow, killing her and putting her ultimate down to 50% before it could actually go off. Which means Rad immediately wins his fucking team fight. But he didn't even mention it. He mentioned these two popping their ultimates and getting ready to have an even fight, when this immediately got sniped. And if you're staring right here, you have all the information you need as a caster. You have all of your ultimates available to you, you have all the health bars, and you have the number advantages, so you can quickly decide what's going to happen. And then when you need to switch to your micro to talk about whatever a character is doing on your screen, you can bring your eyes down here. Study up here. I'm literally, when I'm watching a game of pro gameplay and commentating, I'm casting off of this. This is my real estate. Let me show it to you visually, what I see when I'm commentating. Let me see here. Let me see if I can do this. Maybe not. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this. Okay. Literally what I see is this. That's it. That's what I'm watching. And then if I ever hear like a Bucky ultimate or an Impertinent ultimate go off, I'll quickly look over to where the cursor is at and say, oh, I'm currently watching a Bucky on my screen. I'm going to commentate his play-by-play actions. But if he was watching up here, we'd immediately call Luna Snow got sniped and Rad already win the team fight.
Rajaro on a Nero though, Speedery on a Naga, but the numbers are evened out. Strategists are down for the side of Envy, and that's a scary position. Rajaro gonna drop Month. That's another level 1 crook on a Cal.
Yeah, like that literally, if you play this game, the moment Luna Snow got sniped, you could tell the fight was over, right? The moment that happened.
Is up heavy, and will they be able to portal back? I do not know. Yes,
here.
do. He's holding still. Speedery just using that block cooldown. Very little time. Great way to hold on for that whole moment, but now it's the dangerous position.
Yeah, I think they might be being a little homey for Envy, it sounds like. The commentator's a little biased. Because Rad is beating ass right now.
It's going to be an incredibly tough fight to win, especially in overtime. This is going to be go next round kind of angle, Rad.
Yeah, like, okay, so yeah, I think they need to make sure to check their bias before coming in, because they know Envy more, right? They've obviously watched Rad, but they know Envy more because they cast in North American qualifiers. They know them in and out. You're gonna just naturally, human-wise, attempt to cast their side of the map. And like, Rad is literally about to end the game, sitting on the point, making 2 big plays to win it all, stopping a teleport that's coming in, and they're like, it's a bit of a hard fight for Envy. It's a little rough for them. Like, you're coloring the commentary to make it to where I only want to cheer for Envy. But as someone that cares about the game as a whole, you're ignoring Rad and what they're pulling off. We gotta fix that.
Take round number 1.
At that point, it's like, do you save the
They both even sound defeated, right? They even sound defeated that Envy lost. Which you can be like, I feel for Envy, but man, let's talk about Rad. Rad was popping off. You could definitely straddle the horse between both sides, but you got to be very aware of it.
Cooldowns, I don't know. I like the idea of them going in there and burning also try to hold, but losing Speedery, and Speedery did a great job for the record, holding that point. As you see, Cal is locked in, angry, faced right now. Did not take that lightly. Rad trying to stay calm, cool, and collected, keeping their energy forward, and that's how you got to keep that momentum. I mean, that was disgusting.
It was almost a blessing in disguise. I mean,
he knows a lot of Envy players personally from Overwatch, for what it's worth. That's fair, and again, that's okay, but you need to be setting up Rad as well. That's your job, you know what I'm saying? It's your job to be objective. There's going to be a little bias in this. We're going to home a little bit for our teams. I'm guilty of it as well. But you can't put the other team on mute, right? There are 12 players here, not 6. But that explains why he's a little biased, right? Because, like, naturally, organically, you're going to want to cheer for the people you know. And that's fine, it's acceptable. Just your job is to cast both teams, right?
Speedery did onto level 1 crook, but it was almost a...
And the commentary very much mirrored. We're cheering for Envy.
He got KO'd early on, and that sort of resulted in him saving his ultimate, saving it for next round. And also, like you said, I mean, because it was Nero having the portal, he was about, I believe, 80% to Luna Snow ult. Now, he doesn't have that ult.
Like, they literally had pictures of Rad, and he goes, yeah, Rad's gonna stay calm and collected. And then he immediately goes back to, Nero needs to do this, blah, blah, blah. Bro, it's so biased. It's so biased. Imagine being a Rad fan watching this, you know? It's like when I'm watching football and I'm watching the Chargers, when I'm watching a Chiefs versus Chargers, and the Chargers commentary won't even acknowledge when we make touchdowns. It just pisses me off and makes me hate your team more. Which is like fine, I guess, you know? Hatred fuels rivalries and all that stuff.
Ready to go for Envy. They're going to speed boost out of spawn with the Jeff, so obviously it's not going to be incredibly exciting to see that character come up potentially, but for Rad, they're giving everybody armor packs from Fate on his side. He's switching back to...
If this continues to happen, this is going to be a thing that production's going to have to start noticing. Is they're going to have to make sure they put one EU caster and one NA caster together in the grand finals. That way they make sure they have representation on both. But it might be too early to call that. Chris Collinsworth on anyone on Mahomes. Well, I'm a Mahomes homer, so it's whatever. I would probably just, you know, goggle Mahomes' balls the entire time commentating him, to be fair. It's like watching Joe Buck cast a Bills game. Yeah, it's just, you know, like...
Luna Snow obviously getting that little bit of advantage.
Yeah.
Try to touch both teams a little bit with your mouth.
That really
That's all.
is everything.
And the games begin, folks. Naga is close to ultimate. Alt advantage heavily on the side of Rad. Closest will be Window and Kaluge.
Yeah, here I would have loved them to stop talking about Envy for a bit and be like, okay, so Rad already is up 1-0, and moving into the second phase, they have 2 ultimates that are going to help them really secure the location. They have Loki, who can grab 1 more Luna Snow ultimate by copying it here, giving them 12 seconds of healing, and then they have Psylocke. If she can get on the backline and take out a strategist, they're going to be in a great leading position. How will Envy handle it? bam, you're set up and you're good to go.
Which honestly, not a huge combination there. For the most part, Window is going to set up something like Cal, maybe even Speedery, but we will see that combo. Level 1 Crook holding on Melio. Trust Me is at 36, excuse me, as Naga is very close. That is a scary group of alts ready for the side of Rad in this first fight, and if Rad wins the first battle, they typically take the map.
Good. I would have loved for what you just said to be done before we get into the brawling, but better late than never. Nice job, Shib.
Home, remember that.
Yeah, but you saw that hiding on Loki as well, ready to go for that dive with the Venom. Now they're kind of coming back with that dance floor from Rad.
Melio onto the back line, dancing the butterfly out, doesn't find value. Nice patty cake there.
Great healing by the healers.
Nero, good comms, and they are going to proceed to do that while Psylocke just pumps in damage. Nero goes down. Trust Me out of Kaluge. Melio going to find Month. Speedery gets one, but it will not matter. Trust Me, how many can he find as they...
Oh, it's so fucking crazy, the bias right now. He's like commentating the 1 or 2 kills that Speedery is getting when Rad is wiping the floor of Envy. Like, it's making me tilt. It's making me tilt. And I know they can't hear me, it's in the past or whatever, but it's like, Rad is cleaning up. They should be getting all the praise right now, all the way through, right? You can give them praise and then go over to Envy afterwards and be like, what does Envy have to do to start coming back? But like, Rad is being ignored in these on these exchanges, and it's real. If I'm a Rad fan, I'm annoyed, dude. I would be so annoyed. If I'm a Rad player, I'm annoyed, right? This is a chance for them to be building their branding as like the Goliaths of this tournament. They're kicking ass. They're taking Envy down. Envy beat them earlier in the tournament, right? Like, this is a moment for Rad, and we should be giving it to them because these are players that have been working their ass off for months. So it really bothers me. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Get 3.
I said my piece.
Built different, make it 4.
I mean, right now, it seems like Envy's trying to find a solution. They have Speedery going over to that Wolverine, and they're playing that counter dive composition. But honestly, I feel like in the current patch of this game, in my opinion, I just think diving is a lot more, it's just a lot stronger. You can set the pace, you can set the tempo, you can force out Shredder's ultimates early. However, in that last fight, they did use level 1 Crook's ultimate. They might have to find pickoffs early for Envy. They have both Shredder's ult ready to go. We'll see how this fight plays out. Rad's going to want an extended one to build level 1 Crook's ultimate.
Yeah,
Rad is playing
lights
good
out
back and forth between the two
no
teams.
Doubt about it. See how Trust Me right there, folks. For those who don't know, utilizing, you can use that cooldown your height. All you want to do, folks, when you're playing Venom is use that wall climb to initiate with your jump. Save the Chendril for the way out if you want to use that grapple. Trust Me, you got to find Month with the feast, though, early on, and that's a massive pick again. Cal, though.
Shib had some good commentary there where Venom was climbing the wall, and he was like, hey, if you're ever playing Venom, you want to be doing this. It's always good to point out, like, good best practices on characters that you're seeing from pro players in front of your face, and that was well done by him.
Says right back at you, sir, as Trust Me goes down. Rajaro trying to get some entrance with that Zionic. Ooh, great wall there. Ooh, peaked a little bit too early. Thought we're going to fall down. Window, they do have positioning advantage now, shoving them back into that corner. Naga on the height behind them,
dude,
though.
Blade is going to change this game so much.
Onto the front line, and Window goes down now. Melio with some great shots.
There's so many parts where I'm like, dude, Blade would kick ass here, right? Like, if he, like, anti-healed the Emma Frost there and they die the Emma Frost, she dies. Blade is going to be such a cool introduction to the game.
There, right to the dome of Groot. No longer Groot, if you will. I am what? As they're back in the spawn door. Speedery gonna find Rajaro. And will that turn around, folks? Kraken Impact ready.
This we're talking about Speedery being one of the best players in the game. He picked off Rajaro after the Diamond Form's over, so he is not CC immune. So
yeah.
Great work for Speedery. The fight's still happening. It's an incredibly long one. Rad are just delaying.
Yeah, no ults left here for Rad, but that's all they wanted, right? 78% using this portal early, because at this point, let's make it a one-fight game. Get to 99. That is smart play, and that's what Rad does best. And I think you need to find a way to shut this down, and they are, as Cal going to take out Bait Window onto Rajaro. You can see Groot doing a good job shutting down some of that dive with walling off some of those angles. Speedery finds Trust Me building, going right to the spawn door, thinking about it, says, I don't want to do that anymore.
What's the hello emo here?
Does
Trick wave
the
or high
cooldown here for Speedery, which does
is what people
greatly
use.
impact the way that you play Wolverine.
Yeah, and this is still pretty solid for Rad. I mean, they got point tickets on the board. They're coming up both Shredder's ultimates, and they keep picking off Month. That's the player you talked about earlier, Trust Me, finding these pickoffs early, and that's kind of what's setting Envy back right now. The pace of play from Rad is just too much, and Envy aren't really reacting. This has been an incredible game number 1 from Rad. I feel like the compositions are a little bit better. Maybe we can see something out of Speedery, and Cal's now over to Punisher too, so I wonder how they're going to do here instead of the Bucky. I feel like Bucky's better for the hard field, but with Cal switching out the shotgun, definitely can do a lot more damage, even though he doesn't have the CC.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Damn,
I think the
good
problem
movement
right
by
now is the
TrikSlyr.
fact that they are in neutrals, consistently finding first pick. And Speeder tries to match it after it seemingly every time. Tackle goes out, Kalush onto Melio, though, and that is a good fight early on as we do see the Psionic. Not able to get too much value yet. Oh, very close there on height. Good utilization of that cooldown. Out goes Venom again with the dive. But that's going to take some time to reset, going straight into a low
feel
key, though,
like
fully healed up now.
Shib's yelling is just equated to a death sound. He hears the death sound and he just starts yelling.
Ready for the next fight. Month
Like he's
Hero
just ready to
being very
yell, and then
patient.
there's
Honestly,
nothing to
it
yell
was gonna
about.
off the advice. They need to play a little more
What's up,
aggro with
girl?
those
Thanks for
strategies
95 bucks.
to win the next fight and ensure they're get driven back. There's now Crook and Fate do have ult, but
Like
it's
there,
all
there was a kill that happened, and he was like, "That was a really good fight." It was, and then he started looking at the screen, and he realized there was nothing to yell about, and he brought it back. You know.
out who gets the better strategist ult
Which
in
is
this
good on him
moment.
for recognizing
Window
there's
does have
nothing to
Strangling,
do.
which will likely force out
Means he
one.
understands the
If they
game.
can find a dual assault, a combo can go right through one of those strategist line ultimates.
I wonder if he just like drinks a
Goes to
Red Bull
Beast,
before
Fate,
every
gonna clear
thing.
out the window. What goes down from Naga 2, and they are pressing back through and trying to shut this down and get this W.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it looked like they're peeling so well. The pole's going to have to come out from somebody.
Great
Looks like
Luna
window
ult.
in this case, so they can draw it out. But Cal
Amazing
goes down.
save.
Month is coming back with the copy, but again, did he fall early in that fight? I believe he did. So in this upcoming fight, they didn't have the copy ready to go. However, because Fate used his ult, maybe Envy have a chance here with the portal play.
The portal goes out, Envy is able to touch. It's all about patience now. Great utilization of the fate of both worlds. Team staying healthy, damage boost, shutting down just some clones
Nice
for the
duel.
moment. Do have that ult out. It is just going to buy time, but they do not even have point at this point. We need to find out who is on in Melio in a flash, in a blink. Is going to take out
No
Cal.
bridge, here it is.
Kalush now on us. Trust me, that's a pick, but dance to the butterfly, patty cake for days. They are holding on. Melio going to get another pick potentially as they consistently find value after that ultimate goes off,
Yeah.
and there it goes as Month and Nero both fall. Rad might take this first map. No teleport left. It's all about can they hold the stagger. They cannot. Rad gets map number 1.
Yeah, huge
Brad!
map on Celestial Husk, and I think really, you know, you saw in that case the patty cake, like you call
Brother.
it. Everybody came back to peel for Psylocke, but that's maximum value for Melio.
I love this
Melio
brings a
is
moment in third
distracting 3
dimension. This
players
game is
for the entirety of
very intelligently made. I love what Marvel Rivals is doing as an esport in the game, you know? I found that if I have caffeine before a cast, it screws my energy so nasty. Yeah. Oh, you're a caster, Kenobi? Welcome. If you have any questions, please let me know, or any thoughts. I'm down to share them. Yeah, energy drinks are actually really dangerous when you're casting, because then you have to control yourself, and if you have to control yourself, you start shaking. My recommendation for casting is to have a coffee 2 hours before your cast. That way you can get through your jitters. And then 2, about 30 minutes before you do it, apple juice and a banana. The vitamin C and the vitamin D get your body running relatively well. Bananas go down smooth and don't get stuck in your gums, so you don't have to worry about like smacking, whatever that's called, right? Things like that. Cold water? No. Hot water is way better. Cold water is okay if your body is running hot, but you typically want to do a warm to hot water, like a tea with some honey in it. You want something to coat the back of your throat whenever you're casting. There's actually German pills that my friend Caldor has. You'll have to ask him. But he usually brings them, and it's incredible. You pop one of those, and it like coats the back of your throat, and it prevents you from taking vocal cord damage. It's incredible. But I don't know the name of it. I will ask him what the name of it is, because he always brings it, so I never have to buy it. He has like cases of them. But if you don't have that, banana hot tea with honey is like the best mixture that you're going to have. Make sure you try to eat and drink your coffee 2 hours beforehand, and then you'll be good to go for the day. 10 of the go, bro. I casted so long that I have so many different opinions and routines on how to like prep your voice and prep yourself for the day. Things to avoid so you don't get all chalky.
Of his ultimate, because the Emma came back with diamond form to also give damage resist. So not only did he force the greens, not only did he force the damage or the diamond form from that Emma Frost, but because of everything he did in that situation, they're able to take advantage of that. No more cooldowns to save the vanguards who were low because they were missing their strategies, stealing each other.
Okay, so I'm down to do more analysis, but you know, this was a good filler. I just want to put this out on a YouTube video, see what people think, see if it's helpful, because overall, I think these two are great. I think a better finalist would have been Leg Day and Moxie in terms of their current levels. I think Shib's yelling is hype at some regard, but it's way too distracting at the moment. And I think these two need to work on what they want to do as casters together. What kind of broadcast do they want to put out? They're very solid. I would give them a lower rating than Leg Day and Moxie right now after my first hearing. And again, this was off of one match. It's a small sample size. I would give them probably like a B-, because they're good. They're good. they're both individually very, very good. I think they need to work together as a team. I think Ship has too much yelling issues, but it's a personal issue. Maybe when you guys see it yourself, you'll also form your own opinions. I think Dogman needs to do a better job of matching his energy when he does go up like that, though, and bring it down here and there. But overall, like, B-, Moxie Leg Day, I would have preferred to have in the grand finals at their current states right now in terms of how they're commentating. But thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any other casters you want me to look at, I would love to check them out. I want to help, and again, I hope this doesn't come off as like a negative thing. I hope everything is seen as criticism to help and to improve commentary, and yeah, that's about it for me.